What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be talking about a topic that I am incredibly passionate about, okay? And I've gotta make this video in one run through because it's a Sunday and I'm about to go shooting with my boys. So let's make this quick and hopefully you guys get a lot of value out of it. We're gonna be talking about how to become a man on a mission. All right, because I wanted to make this video because at one time I once felt incredibly lost, depressed, life felt meaningless. I would constantly ask myself, what is the purpose of my life? I would say things like, this can't be all. I would say things like, I think I was meant for more. Okay, I even at one point questioned, is there really a God? And if there is a God, why did he put me here? Why did he put me on this rock to live out a life of meaninglessness? In fact, when those thoughts continued, I would start to get angry at God. I would start to get bitter at God for spawning me into such a meaningless existence. And ultimately, this drove me towards nihilism. And this is one of the main reasons why I'm making this video, is because I know that a lot of young men in today's society are driven towards nihilistic tendencies, a nihilistic way of thinking. And what nihilism is it's the belief that there is no objective truth or meaning behind anything. There's no value, okay? There's no objective purpose that you have as a person put on this planet, okay? I once felt that way. I fell into that genre. I fell into that trap of believing that to be true. But I stayed consistent. And ultimately, God blessed me. I can very much say that looking back now. It didn't feel like a blessing at the time, but looking back, hindsight is 20/20, I can see God was very much at work in my life even when I was at my lowest, even when I believed that he had turned away from me, that I was questioning the meaning of everything and I didn't understand what my purpose was. During those dark times, he was still at work within me. And I can see that looking back now. So I stayed consistent and ultimately he showed me the way. He put me in a position of leadership, which I realize now I'd always been called to, but I didn't understand what that meant. I didn't understand what that should look like. And ultimately, now I have people coming to me asking me questions, and it's up to me to guide others, all because I found my calling. I found my purpose. And that's why I'm making this video for you guys today. Now, one thing that I really want to get across in this video is that I self-identify as a man on a mission. And that's what I want you guys to do as well. I want you guys to finish this video and have some semblance of what you need to go and do. I want you to tell other people, I am a man on a mission. When somebody asks you how things are going, I don't want you to just give them the response, oh man, I'm just tired. Just tired, just the usual, as so many people do. So people say, I say I'm tired so much, it might as well be part of my personality. And yet they're getting as much sleep as they could, they're resting, they're bumming out all day, and yet they're still self-identifying as a tired person. They make it a part of their personality, a part of their character. I want you to start identifying as a man on a mission, okay? And at the end of the day, it is a whole lot easier to wake up in the morning when you are a man on a mission, when you truly believe that. It is a whole lot easier. You will see everything shift as you start to steer clear of nihilism and understand the beauty and objective truth of life, okay? Now, what you need to understand, let's get into this. Point number one, the biggest thing that you need to understand is that you need to show up, all right? Faith and works. I'm going to describe how both of these are connected. Because Paul says in the New Testament, he says that faith without works is dead. okay? And the truth is, if it wasn't for my consistency and my discipline, even during times where I was going through it, when I was eating shit, when I felt awful, when I felt like life didn't have meaning, I would never have been able to find the path that God presented to me. It was the consistency that ultimately allowed me to break through. It was the discipline that gave me the path. God was able to show me the path because I was still putting in hard work and being consistent, okay? So God needs you to be resilient, and God needs you to put in the work. Super important. You can believe and you can continue to have faith, but if you don't continue to work towards something, these opportunities may never present themselves to you. Your mission may never present itself towards you. Look at yourself. Am I somebody that is being slothful? Am I utilizing the talents that God has given me? These are questions that you need to be asking yourself, because you have to remember that faith without works is dead. You have to show up, okay? Number 2, understand the mission. I want you to set solid goals and develop a mission statement. This is something that I did very, very early on. I realized, hey, I need to have an idea of what I want to do. So on those days where the sun shines through the dark clouds of your depression, if you're in a super dark place, take that sunshine and bottle it up in the form of a mission statement. Where is it pointing you? On the days where you feel good, what is it ultimately pointing you towards? Because if you have weak goals, you will have a weak foundation. And if you have a weak foundation, you're easily blown off course. Easily blown off course. So my first, thing that I really, really wanted to do, and something that I knew that I had passion for, was personal training. So I told myself, hey, I am going to become a personal trainer. And I'm not just going to become a personal trainer, I'm going to become the best personal trainer on the planet. And you might say, oh, well, that's kind of ridiculous to think that you can be the best at something when there's 7 billion people on the planet. You should also be trying to be the best. You should have that much self-belief. That is how I want you to operate. I want you to be competitive. I want you to chase being the best. Competition in our society has been incredibly downplayed. I want you to push yourself. And I want you to try to be better at what you're doing than other people. I want you to excel. I want you to pursue greatness. These are all things that are awesome that we as men can chase, all right? What I want you to understand is that you also don't have to have the same goals as me. But if you are watching through this video, especially if you've gotten to this point in the video and you haven't turned off the video because you have the attention span of a goldfish, that means that we probably have something in common. You and me. I think that we are ultimately alike. And I think that leaders come in all different shapes and sizes, and that leadership looks very different from person to person. So you may be watching this right now and thinking like, Brandon, I don't really have much in common with you at all. You may not want to become a fitness coach. You may not want to become an entrepreneur, but we have something in common. And that's the reason why you're watching this video. And I want you to understand that, because not everybody watches these videos. Other people are out there watching Jake Paul do something stupid in his mansion and watching videos where people eat 30,000 calories in 10 hours, and people are watching mukbangs, and there's so much content out there, there's so much entertainment, but instead you are here. You're listening to me talk, which means that you've got something going for you. You've got a ray of light in there. And so if you're somebody that is going through a dark place, I hope that brings you a little bit of sunshine, all right? Now, what I want to do is I want to read through my mission statement, all right? And I developed these very, very early on, before I started my businesses, before I started everything. I wanted to know where I was at. And so I would read this to myself every single morning, all right? Who am I? This is a question that I asked myself. I said, I am a man who believes these things. I'm a man who believes in God, the creator of the universe, that every man should have to sacrifice something to God every single day, that suffering is a part of man's existence, that hard work brings fulfillment, that pain is the best teacher, that a man should be set apart both in body and in mind, that every man should seek out pain if they become too complacent. They should seek it out. They should seek to go outside of their comfort zone. I'm a man that believes that you should take care of your body as if it were a temple built for the dwelling of the Creator himself, which is 100% true. It is. I am a man who believes that respect and submission are built into manhood for a reason. It's not toxic, not out of selfish ambition or vain deceit. Okay? I also have my full mission statement, which I want to read for you guys. I personally think, and this is all based around the fact that I wanted to become a personal trainer and I wanted to become a fitness coach. I think that the first step at being a good personal trainer is genuinely caring for others and wanting them to improve in their quality of life. So if you're watching this video, listen up to this, because this is an aspect of leadership. You need to understand this. Being a good personal trainer means that you are able to adjust your training and coaching styles based off of every individual. Everybody is going to have different goals. Everybody is going to be starting at different places. My job is to build something for them so that they not only enjoy it, but they are motivated to become better at it, to continue to put in the work. Most of the goals of personal trainers and coaches should be to teach, because ultimately you want somebody to be able to move forward by themselves without your help. My true motivation for becoming a personal trainer was because the gym was always a place for me of meditation and escape. I loved it so much. I felt like it was a place where I could go to relieve the stress and yet at the same time have the satisfaction of working towards an ultimate goal. I loved the environment of the gym because everybody that was there was on a mission for self-improvement. I hated being lazy and I hated being surrounded by people who were fine with doing the same thing every single day of their life and not growing in every single aspect of their life. In the gym, everybody had a common goal. I figured if I could make money while being in an environment surrounded by other people who also have a passion for growth, then complacency would not be an option. My ultimate goal in life and in business is to be able to make a lot of money off of my hard work, and also while being able to maintain the values that I hold. Since the gym highlighted so many of those values, I knew that it was the place to start. I would say that inspiration is one of the highest forms of achievement in life, as in inspiring other people. Being able to inspire and influence others is an incredibly powerful thing. My goal isn't just to be a personal trainer, but it's to be a leader and a role model for both people older than me and people younger than me. Even though I hate calling myself an influencer, that's ultimately what I am and what I am going to become. I want to change people's lives for the better. Because when you change their lives, whether it's through exercise, diet, mentality, you provide a service to them that is priceless. You are not just a coach, you are a leader, and your lifestyle should practice what you preach. If you are going to tell others how to do things, you must lead them with your own actions. You should have a stack of proof that shows that you are who you say that you are. Never stop learning. But like I said, guys, you don't need to have the same goals as me. You don't need to want to become a fitness coach. You don't need to want to be a natural bodybuilder. Leadership looks very, very different for different individuals. So take these aspects and apply them to your own life. Number 3 is going to be find and learn from those who have gone before you. Okay, I understand that there are a lot of negative aspects about the internet and about social media. A lot of negative aspects. In fact, most men spend their time doom scrolling and watching porn. Social media has had such a negative impact on men, but I need you to use the positives of social media if you are going to use social media. I need you to see that there is more access to connection to other people than ever. There is more access to education and other individuals more than ever before in history, okay? You can learn at a far greater rate than other men in history because you have access to an incredible data bank of knowledge. The internet is a beautiful thing. Utilize it. Utilize it to become better, to educate yourself, to learn more. Stand on the shoulders of giants, okay? That is what I would say to you. Stand on the shoulders of other people so that you can see further. Understand that you don't have to make every single mistake in the book for yourself because you have seen other people make those mistakes and you can learn from their story. You can learn from them being in that position. Don't copy other people. Stick to your values. And this is one of the ways that I ultimately practice what I preach is through celibacy. Like a lot of the people that I look up to believe that in order to be a successful man, you need to sleep with as many women as possible. I don't believe that to be the case. I'm 24 years old. I'm a virgin. I'm saving myself for marriage. It's part of my value system. I practice what I preach. I understand that I'm going to get flack for that. I understand that people are going to think that I'm a loser. That's okay. I'm going to stick to those values. All right? What I also want you to understand is that you're going to make plenty of mistakes along the road. You're going to make so many mistakes. You're going to look back and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. It is better to make those mistakes than to stay complacent. I want you guys to go and I want you to read the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, you will learn so much about God the Father, about the personality and the characteristics of your God. It is a beautiful thing. The stories of the Old Testament, they talk about men who messed up so much. Kings, judges, people who did absolutely terrible things. And yet some of them were even called men after God's own heart. Some of them were called by God to do incredible things. Even though they were fearful, even though they were scared, even though they couldn't control their lust, even though they were sinning left and right, even though it seems like they were living a life of degeneracy, God was still using them. So understand that you are going to make massive mistakes. You are going to make massive mistakes. But it is better than staying in the same spot and not utilizing the ultimate gifts that God has given you. You need to move, all right? So have role models for different aspects of your life. Pick and choose from different people. For example, myself, I've sat down and I've gone through, like, who are the people that I look up to? Who are the people that I want to emulate? Who are the people that I want to be like? My dad, I look up to him in the spiritual sense. From the religious perspective, he's a pastor, you know? Number two, on the finance side of things, I have other people that I look up to that have built businesses that are in a similar situation to where I want to be. I can't really look up to my dad in that sense because, you know, he's a pastor. He's devoted himself to spreading the word to his church. He's not trying to chase the finance side of things. He's not trying to build a huge business. So I'm looking up to other people to try to learn how I can build a business that utilizes my talents to help hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people. Number three, I look up to people when it comes to the fitness side of things. Number four, I look up to people when it comes to the mindset and self-belief, the charisma that they have, their beliefs that have gotten them to where they are today. Like, how can I ultimately learn from them? How can I take their mindset and utilize it? Pick and choose. Pick and choose from people. That's the beauty of the internet. So find who those people are and ultimately learn from their mistakes. Number four, understand that work is in your nature. Now, this is something I've said before, but you are made in the image of God. And we were given dominion over the garden. We were supposed to work in the garden. In heaven, we are not going to be sitting around relaxing. We are going to be working. We are going to have a mandate. We have a cultural mandate to this day. Be fruitful and multiply. I want you to work hard. I want you to be aggressive. I want you to ultimately go out and find fulfillment in your work. God wants us to do that. God is a creator. He created everything. He created all of this. How not in the same way are you, someone who is made in the image of God, not going to continue to go out and create, to fulfill your calling, to utilize the talents that God has given you. Number 5, I want you to take unconditional responsibility for the things that happen in your life. This is what's called having an internal locus of control. This means that you don't blame other people, you don't blame certain things for happening to you. You take responsibility for what is happening. What I want you to do is I want you to live as if nothing is outside of your control. Live as if nothing is outside of your control. And what is outside of your control should not take up any bandwidth in your mind. Because ultimately that is up to God. You focus on what you can control. That's all you should care about. The rest is ultimately up to God. This comes back to faith and works. Without works, faith is dead. All right? It comes all the way back up to the top. Do what you can, put the work in, and then trust God with the rest. Trust God with what you can't control at the end of the day. Some people, they love to say, live and let God. You know, that's something that people love to say nowadays. I hate this. Most of those people are bums. Like, they don't do anything. They don't work hard for anything because they think that God is just going to guide them like right where they need to be without putting any work in. These people struggle from sloth. At the end of the day, you need to be active. You need to be pursuing. You need to stay disciplined, consistent. Number 6, understand that suffering is a part of every man's mission because of the fall. All right? And what I really, really need you to see suffering as is a positive. And I know that this is difficult, but ultimately it's up to you how we respond to suffering. There's a martial art called judo, and basically what it's based around is it's trying to use your opponent's strength and weight against them. So then when they come at you, you are able to use their own power to defeat them. In the same way that God ultimately used sin and flipped it on its head, He sent Jesus, and He was ultimately able to create the greatest good of all time out of the fall, which is something terrible. In the same way, it is up to you to use judo and flip sin on its head, flip suffering on its head, and see it as a learning experience. See it as something that points you to God, all right? When bad things happen, I want you to think, what can I learn from it? I want you to see it as God is testing you. You are being tested. You can learn. You can learn from this. What can you learn from this? And the last thing, the last point that I really, really want to drive home is that not every single day is going to be clear and sunny and rainbows in the sky. It's just simply not going to be like that. Because 1 to 2 days per week, I just feel like shit, honestly. I feel absolutely terrible. I don't want to work. I feel like my mission is lost on me. My head is in a fog. It happens. That happens. You're being tested. You sometimes have to just sit back and weather the storm and continue to put in the work even when you can't see your way out. Once you find a mission, once you understand that work is the goal, once you understand what you should be working towards, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden life is going to be rainbows and sunshine. You are still going to be tested. But life is a whole lot better. And getting up in the morning is a whole lot easier when all of the time you are able to identify as a man on a mission, even in those dark days. So I hope this video really helped you guys out. If there's anything that you guys have to say, please drop it in the comment section down below, along with a thumbs up, a singular thumbs up, so I can see just how many people actually finish through this video, how many people actually have a solid attention span to be able to pay attention. But remember, you can pay attention and watch this entire video, but if you don't apply it to your life, it's absolutely useless. So please, take this, apply it to your own life. Make sure to drop a like on the video as well down below, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.